All right, hi everyone. It's Mr. Derlin here. I know you can't see me, but trust that it is me. Hi, I'm waving to you. All right, so I'm here to help you out with your area of triangles and trapezoids homework. All right, so I'm going to do the odd ones with you. So 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then you're going to do the even ones 2, 4, 6, and 8 on your own. All right, so let's get started. Question 1 here. What is the area of a right triangle with a height of 8 and 9 tenths centimeters and a base of 14 and 3 tenths centimeters? All right. So I'm kind of a visual person. So the first thing I usually like to do if they don't give me a picture is I draw it. So I'm going to draw a little rough, very rough sketch of a triangle here. And they tell me that my base, so the bottom part of my triangle, in this picture anyway, is going to be 14.3 centimeters. And that my height, so how tall my triangle is going to be 8.9 centimeters. All right, so that's what I know. What else do I know about this question? Well, I know they're asking me for area, and I know that the formula for area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times base times height. All right, so using the information here about my triangle and knowing the formula for the area of a triangle, I can find the area of this triangle. All right, so the area is going to be equal to 1/2 times the base of my triangle, which in this case is 14.3 centimeters, or 14 and 3 tenths centimeters, rather, times 8 and 9 tenths centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to take those numbers and type them into my handy dandy calculator because I can't do that in my head. If you can, kudos to you. That's impressive. I can't do that. So 1/2. To type that in my calculator, I'm doing 1. So parentheses 1 divided by 2 parentheses. It's important to close the parentheses. And I'm going to multiply that by my base, which is 14.3, and the height, which is 8 and 9 tenths. All right. And then I hit enter on my calculator, and it gives me this number here. 63.635, or 63 and 653, or 35 thousandths. That's kind of a long, ugly number, so I'm going to shorten a little. I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. So that's going to be 63.64 centimeters squared. Now, when you're talking about area, it's always important to remember that it's your unit squared. So in this case, it's centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. Always units squared. All right, let's move on to question 3 here. Just keep rocking and rolling. All right, we need to find the area of the trapezoid at the right. So right here, this trapezoid. All right, so what do I know about this trapezoid? Well, to give me this length here, this length here, this length here, and this length here. All right, I also know that the formula for the area of a trapezoid is very similar to the area of a triangle. It's going to be 1/2 times the base. But in the case of a trapezoid, I have 2 bases. I have this length here and this length here. So I am going to have to add up these bases. So my first base is 6 centimeters. But what is the length of my second base here? Well, I know that if I just look here, okay, ignore the little end piece of my trapezoid, this is a rectangle. So I know that this length here is going to be the same as this length here. So this is 6 centimeters. And then the last little bit, they tell me is 2 centimeters. So all I have to do is add up 6 centimeters and 2 centimeters, and that's going to give me 8 centimeters. And I don't know why I'm writing it up here, but I am. And then I am going to then multiply that by the height of my trapezoid, which here is 5 centimeters. So let's type that all into our calculator here. So I got my handy dandy calculator again. And once again, 1/2 is parentheses 1 divided by 2, close parentheses, times 6 plus 8, which is 14. And then I'm multiplying that by 5. And that is going to get me 35. 35 what though? Well, I know the lengths here are centimeters, so it's 35 centimeters. And then its area, so it's squared. Area is always units squared. So the answer number 3 there is 35 centimeters squared. All right. Let's take a look at question 5 here. All right. So question 5, they want us to find the area of this trapezoid. So just like 3. But they want us to do something a little different. They want us to decompose it. That strange big word there, decompose, into familiar shapes. So you're probably looking at it like, what the heck does decompose mean? Well, it just means simply that we're going to break this thing apart. We're going to take it apart and break it down into familiar shapes, so shapes we've seen before. So I'm looking at this here, this trapezoid, and the first thing I notice is that I've got, if I just trace this side, these sides here, I've got a rectangle. I'm going to trace out that rectangle with my purple pen. And then after doing that, I notice that this is a triangle. And so I'm going to take my blue pen and trace out this other shape here. We got ourselves a triangle. So this trapezoid is made with a rectangle and a triangle. All right. Well, I know how to find the area of a rectangle, and I know how to find the area of a triangle. So I'm going to use that information to help me figure out how much space this total shape takes up. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how much space this rectangle part takes up. Well, the area, I know the area of a rectangle is just the base times the height. Base times height. Base times height. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So the base of my rectangle here is 8 feet. And I'm going to be multiplying that by my height, the height of my rectangle, which is 18 feet. And once again, I can't do that in my head. If you can, awesome. You'll have to teach me your ways. But until then, I am going to put it in my calculator. So I've got 8 times 18, and that's going to get me 144. So I know that the area, so how much this rectangle takes up, is 144. 144. Let's write it out. Meter, Mr. Derlin. Feet. Squared. Always remember that area is units squared, so it's feet squared. All right. So I figured out how much area this rectangle took up. To find out how much this total shape takes up, we got to figure out this triangle. All right. So once again, to review from question 1 here, the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. All right, so in this case, we got our 1/2. We're going to be multiplying that by the base of our triangle, which is 6 feet. They give it to us right here. This little length we know is 6 feet. And then we need to multiply that by the height, how tall our triangle is. Now, you're probably looking at it and thinking, Mr. Derlin, that's not labeled. How would I know how tall that is? Well, just like we talked about here in question 3 with our rectangles, we know that this here is a rectangle. And because we know that this length and this length are equal. They're the same. So I know because this is 8 feet, I know this is 8 feet. And because I know that, I know my height is 8 feet. So now I've got 1/2 times 6 feet times 8 feet. And that's going to give me an area. Let's put that in our handy calculator. 1/2 times 6 feet times 8 feet. And that gets me 24 feet. So I know that the area of this triangle, so how much this triangle takes up, is 24 feet squared. All right. So now, to find the total area that both of these shapes take up together, I'm just going to add them up. So in my calculator, got 144. I'm going to add 24. 144 plus 24, and it equals 168 feet squared. Feet squared. Sorry if I yelled a little too loud. Probably scared some of you. Just making sure you're awake. 168 feet squared. Because with area, it's always squared units. All right. One last question we're going to do here together. And that, my friends, is question 7, where we need to find the area of this triangle. I'm going to switch back to my purple pen. I like it a little more. All right. So, to review again from question 1 and question 5 here, the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 times our base times our height. All right. So the things I need to know about this triangle are the base and the height. Well, in the case of this triangle, the base is 8 4/10 inches. So 8 4/10 inches. And I'm going to be multiplying that by the height. So how tall my triangle is. Well, that is marked out by this line here. So the height of my triangle, so from the bottom to the top of my triangle, is 9 inches. I'm going to multiply that by 9 inches. All right. So yeah, 8 4/10 inches times 9 inches. And once again, it's time for our handy dandy calculator. 8 4/10 times 9. Oh, you know what I realized? Just realized I forgot something in my formula here. I forgot our 1/2. So I need to multiply this by 1/2. All right. So now I'm going to multiply that by 1/2. I almost forgot about that. All right. So now I've got that all on my calculator. I just hit enter, and that's going to get me 37.8. My pen is dying. 0.8 inches squared. Units squared.